So our challenge locally was to get into the psychology of our market, essentially, which is the South African teen youth culture. We needed to know what it is that drives them, what it is that would excite them. And we came at a point where there was a kind of tension between how we've grown up as South Africans, you know, with the entire notion of Ubuntu and sharing and all of that, versus the international kind of uptake of the individualistic culture, uploading to your Facebook, to your Twitter, and being heard. And what we wanted to do was kind of bridge the gap between those two tensions and communicate to them in a way where they could feel like individuals within their group clusters. There is a really like big culture of cliques and groups and identifying with other people that have like interests in the country for teenagers. So we wanted to go in and show that we have an understanding of that. And how we did it is we actually picked real life cliques and groups of interesting people that are interesting for various reasons. Some are bloggers, some were artists, musicians, etc., that teenagers would kind of recognize or identify with, even, you know, from just a style level. And it worked out really well because they brought their own wardrobe in, they brought their own kind of flair, and, you know, what they do in their everyday life kind of came alive in the ad, which was a really rich ground for us to start at. And when we brought in the story and the dog, everything kind of worked together to display what South African youth culture feels like at the moment. We featured I See a Different You, a blogger/photography collective who are very popular for what they do on Tumblr, as well as work that they do with documentaries. We featured a group of street artists who go by the name Sartists. Nkgabiseng is one of the guys, and they dress in a really interesting way and take photos of themselves in, you know, the environments that they hang out in. We also featured a group called the Boys and Bucks, which is a collective of different artists. So some of them are musicians and producers, and others of them are fashion designers, which became quite interesting for us, of course.
Well, Greg's always brings authenticity to any of his commercials, and Coke is a brand about authenticity, and the way that we wanted to engage with the youth is to be absolutely true. You know, youth can see through people trying to create a facade. So, you know, as Nkgabi's already said, the way that we approached the cruise was very much something that was guided by Greg and his process. Obviously, we were very lucky to have had I See a Different You, or at least one part of that collective, working with us with Draft at the time. But it was a collaborative process. We went through a lot of different cliques and crews and found the right ones that we thought would best represent the Coca-Cola brand. And each of them brought a different dynamic, which was absolutely awesome. Well, we've had great success. I think it's a nerve-wracking thing, taking an award-winning global marketing idea and having to implement it locally. There's a lot of responsibility on your shoulders. And I think this is an instance where we can be truly proud of ourselves, because it's a global idea that ultimately we've executed with true local flavor. Milward Brown has researched it as the top ad that they've researched ever. Globally, it's in the top 3% of all Coke ads ever produced that have been researched. So, yeah, the success of this is that it's a global ad that was a global idea that was executed in an execution locally that is now going globally. We actually are going to be running the ad as it is, uptake from other countries around the world in the Nguyen region, which I have no idea exactly what they are. It's Great Britain, France, Belgium, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Ireland, Denmark, Iceland, Sweden, Norway, Finland, plus 20 African countries. And we're also in the process of shooting it with culturally relevant cast for Russia and Kazakhstan. So we actually get to go through this exciting process again and bring our little dog out. So yeah, we're pretty proud of the results, and I think everybody that watches it really has an amazing emotional response to it for various reasons. Of course, we wouldn't shoot it with anyone else. It wouldn't be the same.